There are many forms of the equation of a straight line, but the three that you see on the screen are the most common. We have the slope-intercept form, or the slope-y-intercept form it's sometimes called, y equals mx plus b, and that's going to be the most common form of the straight line that you probably remember from school. We have the point-slope form, and usually we use that form only when we're given the slope and 1 point on the line and being asked to find the equation. And we have the standard form, and the standard form is generally used when we are working just with the x and the y-intercepts of our straight line. In the example that you see here, we're being given the information that the slope is 4 and the y-intercept is -2, and we're being asked to find the equation of that line. The first step that you want to do is to convert the word slope into its symbol, which is m, and the word y-intercept into its symbol, which is b. When we're working with the equation y equals mx plus b, the only two things that need to be filled in to complete the equation are m and b, and since we have both values, we just write y equals 4x minus 2. And that's the equation of the straight line with a slope of 4 and a y-intercept of -2. In this example, we're being asked to find the slope and the y-intercept of a line that's given in standard form. So standard form being ax plus by equals c. The a and the b both are just the coefficients of our unknowns x and y. So they tell us how many we have, how many x's and how many y's we have. So the only thing we need to do here, if we're looking for the slope and the y-intercept, we have a couple of shortcuts that we can use. Slope is always negative a over b for an equation in this form. So when we're being asked to find the slope, we just take the value for a, which is 5, and the value for b, which is 4. We get negative 5 over 4 for the slope of this line. When we're calculating the value of b, the shortcut we can take here is c over b. So in this case, we're going to use the constant term c, which is 40, and divide by the coefficient of y, which is 4, and so the y-intercept is now 10. Often we write a y-intercept as a point, and all y-intercepts have an x value of 0 and a y value of 10 because every point for a y-intercept is on the y-axis, and every value on the y-axis has an x value of 0. In our last example, we're going to look at the less common form of the equation of a straight line, and this is the slope point form. And with this equation, we are being given the slope of 4, so we're going to mark that as m equals 4, and we're being given a point 2, 1. Every point on the Cartesian coordinate system stands for an x value and then a y value in that order. And so if the point is 2, 1, it means that x equals 2 when y equals 1. So we have enough information now to put into our equation y minus y1. y1 is coming from the y coordinate of our point, equals m, which we know is 4, times x minus x1, and x1 is the value of the x coordinate of our point. Now, if we expand this equation, we're going to multiply the 4 into the bracket, and if I bring the -1 from this side of the equation over to the right side, I will be adding it to the minus 8, so I have y equals 4x minus 7 in y equals mx plus b form. There are a couple of special cases for the equation of a straight line. One of those cases is when you have a vertical line with an infinite slope or an undefined slope. So that line goes up but not over, if you remember the definition of a slope from the last video. All lines of this form have the equation x equals a. And a is simply the value that the line crosses on the x-axis. In this case, we cross the x-axis at the value minus 2, and so the equation of this line is x equals minus 2. The same idea holds true for horizontal lines, or lines that cross only through the y-axis and not the x-axis. Another way to look at this would be lines that are parallel to the x-axis. In this case, every equation is y equals b. And so if this point happened to be, say, 0, 4, we would have the equation y equals 4 for this straight line.